welcome to our first lecture on group stages. In this lecture, we will be looking at the first stage of group development, forming, as part of our group skills in substance abuse counseling course. As we look over the objectives for the week, I want to remind you to review the chapters for the week prior to viewing the lecture, as it is intended to supplement your reading. By the end of the week, you should be able to identify factors necessary for forming a group and describe the tasks of a beginning group. As your book points out, there are many ways to categorize and describe the stages that functional groups go through. And despite the differences in labels, most degree groups go through between 4 and 5 stages in the life of a group. Back in the 1970s, 2 researchers named Tuckman and Jensen identified 5 stages of group development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. This still stands as a very common way for discussing group development. You may refer to the table in your book on page 84 if you want to see a comparison of a few different ways that authors have conceptualized the stages and transitions of group development. Forming a group is a process that takes several steps, and although some of the steps may be completed at the same time, none may be skipped if the group is going to form properly and thrive. First, every group relies on a clear and thoughtful rationale for existence. Groups that attempt to form without a strong rationale are likely to be unproductive and potentially harmful for their members. Leaders must also decide on the theoretical framework from which to work, and the theoretical format should be appropriate for the purposes of the group. The successful formation of a group also relies on practical planning, like the meeting time and place, and leaders should consider potential obstacles in planning this group. Considering how the members get to the meeting. If the group's intended for a certain population, say school-aged children or elderly people, transportation may be a specific issue to address. Publicized group is another consideration that is addressed during the forming stage, and it's important to keep in mind that how a group is announced influences both the ways that it will be received by potential members and also the kind of people who will join. Take some time to consider whether word of mouth, personal contact, and/or written announcements will best suit your intended audience, and that will contribute to the intentionality of your group formation. Screening and pre-training are processes that involve meeting potential members either individually or in a group format to determine who should join a group and who should not, by identifying needs, expectations, and commitment, challenging myths and conceptions, and conveying information to those potential members. This is an opportunity not only for group leaders to select members, but also for potential members to make sure that the group is something they're truly interested in. Once members have been selected, pre-training serve as almost an orientation session to help members get acclimated. The selecting of group members and group leaders can be seen as an outcome of the screening and pre-training, with leaders selecting group members and group members selecting to be part of the group with those leaders. Once we have a group, there are a number of tasks that must be accomplished during the first session, including dealing with apprehension, reviewing goals and contracts, specifying rules, setting limits, promoting positive interchange among members, and resolving potential group problems. A certain level of anxiety is considered a natural part of beginning groups, and group leaders can address anxiety directly in the group or work to clarify any issues that seem to arise as a result of member anxiety. Reviewing goals and contracts within the group is an opportunity to restate the purpose of the group during the first stint and allow members to share more about their own personal goals. Although some groups may begin with an established set of group rules, the first session is a great time to review these rules and also allow members to make contributions to the rules. Stating rules in positive terms rather than negative terms will help set the tone of the group. For instance, rather than having a rule against violence, the group could state that members will respect the physical and psychological safety of others at all times. Limits helpers understand boundaries in the group, and limits can be addressed during the initial session, but must also be addressed when members test them in the group setting, either by breaking rules or norms. leaders can promote positive interactions among group members by being enthusiastic, by drawing out members, holding focus on interesting topics, or shifting the focus when topics are irrelevant or interesting to only a few members, by cutting off any hostile or negative interactions as well. There are a number of problems that can occur during the formation of a group and afterward. Some involve people, and some of which involve process. Subgroups are one such example of a problem that can come up in group process where cliques of members band together and may become troublesome. Leaders must remain tuned in to interaction patterns and promote interchange among members, potentially by having more direction for interaction through exercises or through activities. Your textbook authors also address this with group member behavior, and the caution that I want to echo as you consider difficult member roles during the first session is that the tendency to label members based on their behavior can be incredibly distracting. It can be helpful instead to see that behavior as a symptom of an issue that's developed in the group and approach it with an open mind. For instance, silent members may be feeling hostile or attempting to withdraw from the group, but they may also be shy, reflective, or simply slow to assert themselves. Instead of seeing a silent member as difficult, it can be helpful to ask a simple open-ended question like, what do you think about what the other members have been saying? Pages 102 to 104 provide strategies for the beginning stage of a group, and I would encourage you to review these pages carefully as they're quite helpful. Over the course of the next 3 weeks, I'll ask you to view clips to illustrate the issue we're discussing.
We're actually leading our own group, so I'm skipping that one.
In summary, forming is characterized by initial caution associated with any new experience, attempting to avoid being rejected by others. During this first stage of group development, group members try to be superficial, center conversation around historical or future events that do not have a direct impact on the group. Tasks during this beginning stage include dealing with apprehension, reviewing member goals and contracts, specifying rules, setting limits, and promoting positive interchange. This serves to conclude our lecture on forming, and I will see you next week.
So we're all getting ready to lead our group. All groups use this. When you learn groups class, you guys get it in grad school, you get it in undergrad. If you go on to grad school, you probably will be able to count this as your groups class. Are you guys going to grad school? Hopefully, maybe. You don't have to. You can get a license with a bachelor's and never have to go back to school again. Going back to Michigan?
I haven't decided.
Okay. And you get 5 years off in the meantime, too. So that's good. Why did it turn off? I hate when it does that. So on Friday, I was showing some of the videos they use for explaining storming, forming, norming, and performing. So basically, it's about how groups come together. And it's the same with classes, which is interesting. So you run your class. You have storming, forming, norming, and performing. And what that's saying is when you guys like have a group and you first come together, it's even like in class. Have any of you had group classes before, like where you have to do group work? That's a perfect example too. So when you first get your group, you're forming the group. That's the very first stage we went through. And it's also kind of annoying because you'll have somebody who won't do work, you have somebody who does all the work, and somebody, where do they still have group work, like in classes? Do they make you do it? Right. So the storming part makes sense. Like you all might even be fighting over like, this dude ain't replying to his email, he ain't doing anything for the group. You got to tell the professor, and they either talk to him or whatever it may be. Hello. So that's another good example. Same with sports teams. Are either one of you on sports teams growing up? Soccer, football, basketball, track, cheer. That's a good one. Hello. How are you? I like that shirt. Uh-huh.
Oh, that's nice. I used to hate it when I first got it.
Because you still had work to do to be done.
It's so ugly. Like our colors were like black and gold. Why
Okay.
sweater gray? I like it now. It's warmer.
We were talking about the stuff we were talking about Friday, but just like forming, storming, norming, performing. So as a group, but I was using group work as an example too. So like, have you ever gotten a classroom group task with a bunch of other students to do a group project? That's what it's called. Same things kind of apply. As you form the group, there's a storm. Maybe some dude ain't replying to his email, ain't doing shit. You gotta tell the teacher. So forming, storming, norming. Maybe the teacher talks to them. They do what they have to, but it's garbage. Yeah.
So, do you do a master's program in person or online?
Ask it again, just so.
Did you do a master's in person or online?
I did mine in 2001, so there really was no such thing as an online school.
Okay, so you did group stuff in your master's program, right?
I did. I like to act like I didn't. Good morning, Angel.
Was it easy to do a group project?
Oh, so in graduate school, most people are willing participants. Whereas in undergrad, like your parents give you a choice to get a job or go to school. Is that usually how it is? Or survival, like in life, we either got to work or you postpone work by getting a degree and live off student loans, and then you got to work. So even in the old days, like if it was growing your own food, chopping your wood to make the fire to heat up your house or cook your food, Gandhi used to sew his own clothes. So there's some type of work, whatever it is. We just live in a consumer society where we can pay for all that stuff to be done. Anybody blessed here with like $1 million that came out of nowhere and you don't have to work or go to school? Right. Most of us aren't. I'm trying to do something on Coinbase where I shouldn't be screwed around as I already lost a bunch of money on that. But they have this new lottery. If you buy $100 of US dollar coin, they enter you in a drawing. It's like a lottery ticket for 5 Bitcoin, which is like a lot of money.
Are you do like Bitcoin and stuff or like the stock market?
I've already lost my ass on it, but they got me back. They're like, all you gotta do is buy 100 and join this recurring thing that you sign up for, and you're in the lottery. And I shouldn't have. So all of us have to work at some point in time. In the game of life, we all have to get a damn job. Isn't that what school does anyway, is postpone that kind of?
I feel like that a little bit until you start having school problems. Like, oh, I'm going to pay school back, now I got that. Now
Yeah.
I still got to work.
Right.
Everybody got their own, like, hard part.
But it qualifies you for a license, and you get paid more with that license. You might hate your job, but then you can switch to another job with that license. That's what a license does. Because if you quit too many jobs without a license, they're just like, that dude didn't want to work. A license, it's in our field, it's okay to be somewhere a year and a half and switch to something else to avoid burnout completely. That happens all the time. You got to leave on good terms and graces and not blow them up on email. Like, fuck you, fuck this place, I'm leaving. Just don't do that. Whatever it is, don't do that.
How do you, like, you just put, like, in a resignation letter?
2 weeks. 2 weeks notice. If you supervise people, they sometimes want 3 or 4 weeks notice so they can replace you. So that happens. I mean, in my Vita, you can see I had to do that quite a few times. I had 5 different full-time jobs in 5 different years. 2015 until 2019. So it happens, you know? And you leave gracefully. Even if you hate the place and you want to see the damn building catch on fire, you leave gracefully. Like, hey, I really appreciate what I learned here. I wish you all the best. I just got a better and brighter opportunity over here. Or I want to go back to grad school. Or I want to get my doctorate. That was usually my excuse all along. So there's something like, always look up and up and up. You know, whatever you're doing, just keep moving forward. Maybe you wanted a job where you did lead groups because you'd rather do this than one-on-one therapy. Some people hate one-on-one therapy. You know, some people hate groups. So everyone's different. But this is the normal way to teach groups with these rhyming words. Forming the group, storming in the group. You're all fighting. Forming, storming, forming, performing. And then adjourning, ending the group. So they always use these rhymes, which could come up on the licensure exam. But here, I wanted to make it easier for you guys. I want to watch this movie in class at some point in time, but look how long it is. You ever heard of this? One of you had seen this somewhere at church, or
Me and my friend just started watching it. We like almost at the end.
is it sad?
Yeah. Is it a good movie? Like, if the plot-
It's real life.
The plot
It's-
is
it's-
good and it will keep you focused, but it's gonna be moments where it takes too long to get where you're trying to get. You just want to know the answer.
You want it to be done in 50 minutes, but they take an hour, 127 minutes.
So like a little filler clip.
Right, that's how you make. I think most movies have to be around 2 hours. That's why it's forever. So, yeah, I want to watch it, and I don't have time. What were you going to say? That's probably the best part then. Okay. So with this next major assignment that's due, your first major assignment was observing a group, like seeing what that looks like, seeing how people run it, seeing what they do with it. The next major, and there's only 3 major assignments in this class, unless if you haven't done your application for the social work program. I'll throw that in there for extra credit. And that's how we keep accredited. That's why that's in there. I hate that we're the only major you have to apply to. Are there any other majors you guys have to apply to?
It probably is like.
Business or something, probably?
I was in college.
Oh, psych majors?
No, like sociology, like.
Okay.
Like small handful.
There's only 5, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, under 20, like,
We have about 100. We're like the biggest in the college besides psychology. Psychology, criminal justice, and social work are like the majority of our students. We're the only ones who get a license with a bachelor. You don't have to get a damn graduate degree. Now, would double the money motivate you to go back and get an 11-month degree? Like it's 1/4 of what you do in undergrad. That's what motivated me. I doubled my salary to get a license like that. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I hate graduate school, but I'll do it. And I did it. I didn't want to do it.
Did you learn something?
I did.
Okay.
I did. It took 3 years too. That's what sucked. You all get advanced standing. If you graduate from here, you get a 1-year degree. I had to take 3. Whew, it was a lot. So these are the options of groups you can. This is like the 10 weeks. You all choose from these. And that's when I said, somebody had that question. Like I saw in here that you have to choose one of these. And that's fine. You can find your own online. Like if you've already led a mental health group or a self-care group, led a day camp, and there was a group that was about self-care or mental health, that's fine. I share this because this is the full 10-week group. And these are the names. So, and you just pick a week if you want. So if you want to lead week 1, that's fine. You just write it in there and tell me the date. Week 1 is connecting with each other, so creating the group guidelines, and there's a game in there. It tells you literally start to finish how to do all this crap, all of it. And then if you need materials, I'll try to get them up at our office. We tried to have these in here anyway. Last semester, we just have paper, markers, beads if we can find them, plastic baggies. If you pick group 2, it's called labels. And labels was the exploring new perspectives. So here they do a vision quest, improvisational game. I can barely pronounce it, but you would do improv. So vision quest scenarios handed out, use toy eyeglasses, brown paper bag, masking tape. So in that group, you're going to learn how to act or do improv. Say you're at a party and somebody's got a bag of weed. You don't know if there's fentanyl on it. Should I smoke it or not? You know, it's legal in Ohio now, but it's illegal on campus. Huh?
No.
So they sprinkle fentanyl on weed all the time now. It's insane. Like it makes me think.
Talking about that one year, like, you gotta watch out for
Right. Yeah. And it would be the same if like when we were 14, we'd go buy this stuff called lemon extract. because it was 180 proof, so it was like 90% alcohol, and you could buy it at the store. We're like, and you put it in this lemon drink. It was great, but it was probably dangerous because it wasn't like. I mean, it's 180 proof is like 90% alcohol. It'd be like taking one shot would be similar to 2 shots of vodka because it was 180 proof. Vodka's only like 80 proof, I think, if I remember. So that may be what you do in this improv game. You know, like you're at a party and a boy invites you up to a room. What do? You know, like then you got expressing myself. That's poetry reading. You'll have a guided visualization. Like I said, they cover this all throughout the chapters. In fact, they have the pages at the beginning. Let me go back to the pages because it'll show. Some people pick based off the shortest pages, which I understand. So here it is. Yeah. So week 1, connecting with each other's page 13 and 19. And it is in D2L. This is called Girl Circle. And we led it at Lighthouse Youth Services. There's also a boys' council. And that's why people picked these. Week 2 is from page 19 and 25. So they're both 6 pages. Connecting with each other, then labels, exploring new perspective. Week 3 is expressing myself. That one's actually 10 pages. The next one's only 4. It's called accepting all different parts of myself, cultivating resentment, and then coming and lead it this month and summon next. When's our spring break? Not soon enough? Ever? I have to get a colonoscopy so I could die on spring break. Pray for me. They send that camera through your butt, and if it pierces you, you die. They told me it's not that dramatic, but I'm like, dude, I hear about it all the time. Like, you got 20 feet of stuff. They're looking for cancer. And I'm like, if they, like, cut you, you're dead. They're like, it's not that dramatic. I'm like, it's dramatic to me. So on spring break, that's why I'm not looking forward to spring break. But we'll try to have all the groups led right before then or the week after it.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going here
Mm-hmm.
and I get into like a sheet of paper or something. I do week 1.
Leading one for us. You
So
are,
when it says like connecting with each other.
and it shows you here on page 13 how to do that. So let's go to 13 real fast.
I just have to like write each like something I want to do for that.
Right, how you're going to lead it. So here's all of them again. And then, well, it says here, poster and markers for group guidelines, assortment, colorful beads, journal for each girl, plastic baggies. And then I'll go here. It's even more detailed on page 13. So you got 6 pages. Those are your 2 activities. When they say creating group guidelines, that's for the full 10 weeks of Girl Circle. So like it would be like no back talk, only spoke when spoken to, whatever rules you come up with. Like you can't call anybody a bitch.
So then how do we lead the group? How would that go? Like would everybody go one day?
It's probably, we could do 2 in a day. So that's why we do spread it out the full month of February and a couple weeks in March. Because there's 9 of us. Who's going to do the first group lead?
Like when we start leading.
You can lead it this week if you want to get it over with.
And we gotta do this for like about like 10 weeks.
Yeah, but there is 3 sessions every week. So if we did all 9, it may take a few weeks. We don't have to do it in order. If you pick week 5 and start out and you want to go 7 days from now on Monday or 10 days from now on Wednesday, that's fine. You can lead week 5. And this is just an example. You can find your own groups online too. I've got others. I'll try to find some. But here's the materials. Like a mental health group, examples of a mental health group, programs for mental health groups, addiction recovery groups, depression group, grief therapy group, like bereavement, all of the above. So yes, we want to get you guys. I know there's someone who wants to go quickly first because they have requested that. And I said, that's fine. Wednesday if you want. It's up to you. But ideally you observe the group first, write up your report, lead a group, and then we'll be writing that big old massive final paper. And I'll have 2 turn-in dates for that, so we break it up a bit.
Or our final paper be about.
It's-
Everything we do.
It is. So you're creating your own mental health group, and you could include funding with that, grants, info from grants.gov, because there's hundreds of thousands of dollars on
I need
grants.gov.
money to rent one group.
If you're at an agency, somebody got money to pay your salary to run that group. Unless if you want to run groups for free out of the kindness of your heart. I feel like most of you are normal and need money to live.
Well, like the way you made it seem like the group is gonna cost or something like that. Or it might if I want to do like refreshments and stuff. I need like a budget for that.
Right. Yeah. If you're running a mental health group at a mental health agency, your normal salary is going to be like $45,000 to $55,000 a year. So if you run this 4 times a year at Lighthouse, they're going to want to make your money, and it does cost. And we'll get into that as detailed as we can when we're doing it. But examples of grants that I have are far and beyond, because we've done it. Well, we did one to get Karen's position. That's a great example. So we had to write a grant. Anybody take a class from Karen yet?
Oh, the UPP program?
The UPP was a grant. And we got 80,000 the first year, and now we have 150,000 this year. Does any of you get placed with UPP? It sounds like at least one of you want to do that.
Yeah. I
You
thought about it, but I really don't want to do CPS route.
Right.
I have to.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about social work. You can try it a year and then quit and go somewhere. Quit gracefully and say, I want to try a different social work, geriatrics or something, or addictions, or there's so many options. Like my specialty is this. So those of you that want to do the UPP program, that money came from a grant. I do go off on my spiel about how the government prints money, and maybe that's how it came to be, and that's why we have all this money floating out there for social workers, which is good because it gives us a job, and it's bad because it causes inflation.
Yeah.
So there's both sides of that. So that would be, I could show you some examples of grants because there is a lot. If I just type in grant, because we've been working on, we have a few others that you guys might be familiar with. Well, yeah, even that, anybody go to UC for the weekend?
I didn't go last year when they did it, or last
Or Miami?
I went to Miami. but
Same difference. So all that money to buy the bus and buy the food and get the basketball tickets, they got a grant like this. This is the UC weekend grant. We're working on racial equity and behavioral health. That's a grant. We got 50,000 for Dr. Winbush, Perdomo, myself, and Nikita to do research. We wrote a grant for the food pantry. We didn't get it, so right now we are funding it out of the donations from our stuff. And then Omesh had a grant with REBH with us.
what's on that?
Dr. Omesh Johar.
Oh, I've seen that name before. What does he do?
He teaches psychology.
Okay.
Big statistics guy. Do any of you guys like statistics?
I took it, but I don't do it again.
Did you get an
I have
A?
both minors. I have both of them too.
Is he hard?
I love him.
He's kind. He taught it this morning, didn't he? I saw him walking out of his classroom this morning.
I had him. What did I have? We had like
Online?
an afternoon class. He was really like hands-on. He came to class every day on time, and he broke it down in many different ways.
Does he drink as much as I do during class?
Not really. He was really like a stand-up person. Like he had to board half of all class.
Right. Okay.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, here's another grant also. This was, let's open it this way. That way it won't cut into. But yeah, if you do, well, Great Minds. Anybody get Great Minds money in here?
I'm in Ohio. She's in Ohio.
Maybe she got some of that money. That was a grant. So grants are a big part of how we run our groups and lead our groups. groups.
Who's making the letter?
Dr. Harley actually
Who is that?
is the director of the University of Cincinnati Master of Social Work.
okay,
Have
the lady.
you ever seen her? You ever met
Yeah.
her?
She got the short hair, it's like kind of blonde.
Let me see here. Dr. Harley.
I think I know.
Watch this.
In Cincinnati.
Yeah. She is, dang it. Why won't she pop up first? Actually, that's her. But I think she
Which
got
one?
right down here. Because I taught with her at NKU. Oh, but that's totally, hold on.
I don't
Dr. Harley UC. That's her right here.
think.
So, and then she got this faculty spotlight. So, this is some of the stuff you guys can do with your money at, if you write a grant. Oh, come on. Really? I hate when it does this. Let's try something else. Is that really on Facebook? It's weird. It looks like so real. But yeah, here's her UC page. And she has more grants than anybody I've ever met. She probably has $1 million worth of grants. And she was that way when I taught with her at NKU. She just got this $1.9 million 4-year health and human services grant. And really, it is like a group. So they're training you to be social workers. Part of that was recruitment. The grant funds the UC Bearcat Fellowship Program. It's a collaboration between Chaz and counseling, and the Doctor's School Psychology Program. I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay. She also got $1.25 million for the 4-year National Institutes of Health Science Ed partnership that supports high school students in conducting research in substance use, misuse, abuse, or mental health in their local community. She went to Wilberforce. Did you guys know that? She went across the street. Then she went to UC, kind of the way they recruit you now, and then she went to OSU. So she's got a lot of good. Well, look how many grants that is. Isn't that crazy? I taught with her this year at Northern Kentucky University. I worked on her with this. She got like $500,000 for that. So your final project will be like writing the group, and you could cite this in particular. This is the whole relationship with peers, and it's 108 pages. So if you like are creating a group like Girl Circle, and you cater it to be Central State University's Girl Circle program, like say you run it with Dr. Hunt. All right, see ya. All right. We got 12 minutes. So you guys are the facilitators. So it tells you exactly how to run these groups. And when you were asking, like, what do I do? This is facilitator preparation. Have a journal for each girl to use in the group. It could be simple wire bounds, prepare beads and baggies. It's called Commonality Beads Game. And then here it starts right out of the beginning. You have an opening ritual. You choose a ritual that will mark the beginning of Girl Circle, and you can use it for the whole entire time. It could be lighting a candle, ringing a bell, having each participant say one about how they're feeling, things of that nature. You've got the theme introduction, connecting with each other. And then, yeah, it even tells you what to say. You could like write this on the note card to say just that, like that. If you make a PowerPoint to gain backstabbing, competition, judgment, the Girl Circle aims to develop true relationships and friends and learn to relate to each other in a healthy and honest way in order to support each other through life experiences. Girls often place more significance on their relationships with boys or men than the relationships with girls or women. But love comes and goes for this reason. It's important to develop female relationships that offer longer lasting. The purpose of Girl Circle, so you're introducing it on this, is for women and girls to come together for friendship, respect, and sisterhood, not judgment. The Girl Circle is meant to be a safe place for girls, place to have successful, meaningful relationships. I'd even have notes for you down here. They can share their own stories about how they've seen girls defer their relationships with boys and negate relationships with girls. Like, y'all want to go out this weekend? No, I got my boo on Friday. I can't go. Which I understand. Like, you do want to have both of those. It's okay. It doesn't mean you can't date somebody. It just means you don't cut out all your girls when you start dating your boo, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And that's, everybody handles it differently, but don't kick out previous. That's kind of where they're going with this. Like, don't kick out girls that were important to your development. And then they have an icebreaker. They tell you how to do that. So, name game for the icebreaker section, so girls can quickly be introduced to each other. And so you could have, then you create the group guidelines. So encourage open discussion. Maybe it's like, how can we create safety? You all vow to keep confidentiality. Obviously, you as the leader and the social worker, we are bound by confidentiality, but group members could actually screw it up and gossip it. Right, yeah. So you do want to find a way to guarantee it's a safe place for your other girls. How do we want to treat each other in the group? How do we not want to treat each other? What guidelines? So, and you could do a flip chart or even plug in and type it up here, whatever you choose. Then brainstorm a list of guidelines on the whiteboard, and then a paper taped to the wall. Facilitators also add their own ideas if the girls do not come up with. So as the leader, you might say, well, what about confidentiality? What about treat with respect? What about like a talking stick? So only one person talks at a time. Then brainstorm guidelines. After they're all written down, discuss which guidelines are most important, and you can create a new sheet or an email, type it up, final guidelines, and then have the girls make it their own using colors, symbols, words, and then final guideline poster is complete. Have the girls hang it up where all of them can view it. Keep the guidelines for each group session. Tell the girls that the guidelines will be reviewed again at the next meeting. So something could change. You might be like, I do want this to go on. And this is why I love this book. If you want to use it, you can. You don't have to, but it tells you from start to finish what to do for your group. Like, it literally outlines everything. It's like your lesson plan. So this here is the lesson plan. Shows you how to lead it. I mentioned before, minimum billable as a social worker is like 15 minutes. So you want to try to get a 15-minute group. I know that sounds forever, but look how much stuff they've got you to do from activity 1 to activity 2. Well, the check-in, activity 2. Or did I already jump to the...
Is it hard to get the time with smaller groups?
No, because it is you leading it a lot. I mean, look at all these different things you have to do. I mean, you don't have to. You can make it your own. You can change whatever you want on it. But it says... introduce the activity. As individuals, we're all different, yet we all have commonalities, such as interests. We can celebrate the differences in each other and connect. Different opinions can be good. Wouldn't life be boring? So pass the beads out. Each girl gets all the beads of the same color in a 10-girl circle. I guess you get 9 yellow beads. Another girl gets blue beads. The leader may participate in this exercise. You explain. The girls will circulate, pairing off in discussions for an established period. The purpose is to explore different mutual interests. So maybe y'all both like this movie. Here's a brown bead. Maybe you both like Chick-fil-A. Here's a red bead. Once the girls discover their shared interests with their partner, they exchange their respective bead colors. So that's what you got in common with each person, essentially. It might be helpful if you provide suggestions to kick off the exercise, like songs, food, family members, actors. And then suggest the girls find a different shared interest with each partner. And after each one is done, have them string the beads they have collected. You might want extra beads so they can create a bracelet. So these are ideas. You don't have to follow this to a T. They're just examples. And I feel like it's 6 pages of writing, so 15 minutes shouldn't really kill you on that. Especially if you're engaging people and then we're talking, telling our interests, and you have the sharing of activity, like what'd you learn from this? How can we use the exercise? And then you've got closing ritual. So maybe it is, again, a song you have or a hug or shared experiences that sends them off with gratitude and respect. And that's it. So that's week 1. If you choose to do week 2, you're going to have 6 more pages of like all these ideas of what to do. If you find something on the internet, that's okay too. And you're about to get paid for this. So even next year, you're going to get paid doing these things. Which sounds weird, but because sometimes, especially when it was summer campish, that was weird to be paid to be a leader in like fun activities you're leading and stuff. But clearly there's a need for it. Like people don't get enough of it. So this is my example for all of these. Do you guys have any questions on leading a group or observing it? If you still have stuff to write up and turn in your observed group, it's okay. I will keep it open. Questions, comments, concerns? And here's how you write up your note. This is also girl circle right here.
Oh, I need a note in every group. Or these are my notes for my group.
These are your notes for your group. So I just wanted to have examples for you because when you bill for running a group, this is the only way you
Oh, I'm telling them what I did in the group.
you provide Medicaid with this, and they'll if they audit you, like
Basically my
your
itinerary. Like,
yeah, you showed
my
up,
lesson plan for them.
how long they were there, what you bill for. Sometimes for an hour group, the average was an hour group. You had to make it 53 minutes to bill for an hour. Or if it was a 45-minute group, you had to make it 38 minutes. There was always at those half increments of 15. So, or if it was a half an hour group, 23 minutes. Like if one of the girls had to go home early, if she was there at least 23 minutes, you bill for a half an hour. And here's how you write it up. So, client engaged well in group activities, spoke about her opinions, many positive thoughts, did not attend, so you're not billing for that one. Client appears to be cheerful. That one did not attend. That one did not attend. They were a little quiet, withdrawn towards the end, better with one-on-one activities, did not attend. So if you're billing, like you get these written up that way. And that is essentially what it looks like in the real social worker world. So that's interesting, just the whole fact of how you write billables. Do you guys have your check sheet done? Okay. Make sure to have your own copy. If your advisor has it, that's great. Just have them send it to you.
Yeah, Dr. Riley did mine. I just have to find a way to make it like editable.
Oh, like this.
Edit on there.
Okay.
So I think
Like if you email me, I can send you a Word document. If you want to just type it in again, you're welcome to. It's up to you. I know, right?
She did like a lot, and like she has like highlighted on ones I already took, ones I need to take.
That's how Nikita does it. Yeah.
Previously am taking, and I just want to like fill it in from last semester. So
Yeah.
I catch it up.
Right. That's from Nisha.
Yeah.
When did she do that? Like in October or November, I guess.
Kind of like towards like during the semester a little bit. I think I got mine like probably at the end when it was time for me to make my new schedule, like do like a Zoom call.
Mm-hmm.
And she just told me the class that I should put in there.
Okay. Oh yeah, here's how we recruited girls. This was at Lighthouse, so Girls Circle. If I was a counselor and I had a teenage girl and I'm like, you would benefit from Girls Circle because it's all girls. male counselor. Sometimes I would get girls, and it was fine, but it would be cool to have like an all girls teenage group so they can, and I would refer them this way. I'd be like, and then here's their funders. That's how they get paid for. Sometimes juvenile court paid for it. West High had one. Our high school's there. How they were transported. Yep.
So don't you know how you tell me to enroll into the social work program here? Like do an application to enroll into the program?
We do have one. It's on our website.
Are you able to check to see who's already enrolled? I think I did one, but I don't remember.
I have it saved on my computer if you submitted the social work application. It's a 4-page application, and we would have met with you in person.
I don't think I mean a lot. The application was a little bit confusing. I think I did it, but I never met with anybody after.
I think I did it, but I didn't submit it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's okay. And if there's something wrong on it, we would help you guys fix it. So go to,
Asking a bunch of questions about other majors. Like that,
You start asking like the classes that I took or something.
yeah, like it was asking like if I was this major, which one would I do or something.
so that does not sound exactly like it. Let me show you. Just go to our website and then say you search social work application. So you do that. It's the very bottom of the forms. So you just go right to like I know we have a social work, well, Department of Behavioral and Social Sciences, and then you go into social work. And it's right in there. Oh, that's where I'm already at. And then you'll click on social work, and it's the last form. You just go into forms. It's right, and like I said, you may have already done it, but you go to forms and then you have application to social work programs. That's before field. And you can copy all this into Word and type it up. Like it doesn't have to be a big to-do. There it is. I'm like, did it already break? No. And so you can copy all this and paste that into Word.
Can you share that with me?
I can put it out as an announcement in our class if
Or like,
Yeah.
is that in the hub thing?
I do think she tried to digitize it in the hub. It's almost easier to have it as a form and I save it because like you said, I can look up to see that it was completed this way. So if I go into here and like, if you have not completed yet, and then there you go. That way you guys can all have it. And it's, yeah, it doesn't take super long. We'll check in with you guys and then it should just click from there like that. So hopefully that works for you. Should take you to here. And it is just like, have you done these classes? So like English, Intro to Social Work, Intro to Social Welfare, English 1 and 2, and math in the first year thing. They might call it something else now, but it's just like the USS or whatever that is. And then where have you worked or volunteered? And then why do you want to be a social worker? That's all. And that keeps us accredited. It seems like busy work, but we actually, that way they keep us accredited because of it. And then you get a whole year off of graduate school because we're accredited.
What does that mean? Oh.
Like
That's how you get the advanced standing.
Oh, okay.
As long as we stay accredited doing what they ask us, which this application is one of them, then they're cool with us. If we don't do it, they take away our accreditation and y'all have to go to grad school for 3 years like I did. It sucks. It really sucks.
I have a question. Well, I have one question and one statement.
Sure, that's fine.
The statement is I was trying to start my group